up at 9:30 sharp. First time, long time, I get to say Jenny Taft. Yes. Good to have you back. You did such a tremendous job over there in France, but we missed you. Welcome. What are you guys talking about today?
Thank you, Jenna. Hey, guys, I had such a good time in France. Obviously fun to see the U.S. win it, but we have a lot to get to on Undisputed. I've missed being here. Should the Lakers feel that they got played by Kawhi Leonard? Did Aaron Rodgers get disrespected by Madden? Plus, Reggie Bush is in studio with us to discuss Ezekiel Elliott's possible holdout. Undisputed coming up next. Jenna, back to you.
All right, Jenny, look forward to it. Have a great show.
Thank you.
Time for us to go viral. All right, check out Shaquille O'Neal living his best life in the middle of a mosh pit at a music festival, obviously in Belgium.
Maniac.
Is there anyone worse to see across from you in a mosh pit than the largest man?
I mean, he's just bodying folks here. Look at that. Show up. Listen, he was trying to go to a regular rock concert in Belgium, and Shaq's big old self comes in, starts throwing bows.
I mean, he's the only giant that the world has ever loved.
Yep.
I mean, this dude has a good time. I mean, playing in the NBA, having a good time. Now retired in the NBA. Oh, man, I love it, Shaq. Do it.
That is one hell of a way to spend your summer. Look at that, just shoving people.
Yeah, that T-shirt didn't have no chance.
No chance.
That's a lot of man.
That's a lot of man.
Seriously.
A lot of calories burned there. All right, let's talk Kawhi Leonard as he settles into life as a Clipper. New reports are surfacing that the Lakers are a little disgruntled over how his decision went down. They reportedly felt they got played by Kawhi in free agency and that he never had any true intentions of signing with them. Nick, Kawhi spurning the Lakers. Is that about the Lakers or that the allure perhaps of playing with LeBron has worn off?
I'm not going to allow for two forms of slander in this. I'm not going to allow for the slander of Kawhi and how he made his decision, and I'm not going to allow for the slander of LeBron because Kawhi chose the Clippers. First of all, on Kawhi. Kawhi handled this professionally. He never said to anyone, I'm guaranteeing I'm coming here, I'm guaranteeing I'm staying in Toronto, or I'm guaranteeing I'm going to make my decision quickly. He was always going to have a process, and the few people he talked to, Chris Carter was one of them, or his group talked to, kept saying, tell the world all three teams are available. They don't cross anyone off the list. Kawhi did this the best way he could, and to act like he always knew he was going to the Clippers when the Clippers didn't even know if they could get Paul George until the night late Friday night, the night he made his decision, Saturday morning, is foolishness. So that's first point. And on the LeBron part of it, Kawhi chose not to go with a super team. That does not mean he was running from the idea of playing with LeBron. I think more so, his first choice was not playing with LeBron and Anthony Davis.
Yes.
And stacking the deck in that
Let's
regard.
just say KD stays in Golden State for some type of reason. Clay decides to leave. He would have not joined Golden State.
That's a great way
because he
to put it.
wanted to play with Kevin Durant. Him and Kevin Durant talked about it. Kevin Durant had decided he was going to go with Brooklyn, pair up with him. And if he said he's going to play with Kyrie Irving, you're telling me you're getting ready to avoid LeBron James and potentially play with Kyrie and have a conversation with him, then play with LeBron and AD? No, that's not true.
In an odd way, I feel like the Lakers would have been in a better position for Kawhi if they hadn't traded for Anthony Davis.
Absolutely.
Right, because it wasn't about, he would have played with KD. We know that. He is playing with Paul George. But the idea of playing with two superstars when he just won a championship as the only superstar clearly was not attractive to him.
But also, he had something else in the works. He wasn't just sitting around waiting, twiddling his thumbs, hope, well, at some point I'll make a decision, everybody will wait until I'm ready. He wanted Paul George to come play with him, and there was, right, Nick, a lot involved in trying to get Paul George to the Clippers and out of that contract.
Well, that's what I wanted to ask you, Chris, because let's just say when Paul George goes to Sam Presti and says, trade me, Sam Presti says, no, not doing it. The Clippers call up. Well, we offer you 7 first-round picks. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Danilo Gallinari. No. We think we can win. We think with the Warriors broken up, we have an opportunity now.
That was on the table for them to say no.
Of course that was on the table. It was Paul George had just signed a contract a year ago. We'd never seen a player demand a trade that quickly with that much time left on his deal. Do you believe that if the Clippers had not been able to trade for Paul George and the Raptors had not been able to trade for a star, that Kawhi would have then signed a short-term deal with the Lakers and formed that super team?
Whoever Kawhi was going to sign with was going to be the best basketball opportunity for him to move forward, to get better, and to win more championships. He would have not gone back to Toronto if they could not, as a consolation, oh, I don't have another move. No, he would have signed with the Lakers because going home, he did have some trust in some of the things that the Lakers were doing, but he didn't have an interest in going to a super team. The thing that hurt the Lakers the most, I would believe there would be two things. One, the initial conversations with Magic Johnson, those conversations getting out, being public, and then it seemed like the confidence that the general public had that he was going to Los Angeles. Ultimately, though, when they signed Anthony Davis, unless no one else could make a deal, Kawhi wasn't going to be able to go to the Lakers because it didn't fit what he wanted to do. He didn't want to join up with the super team. He wants to continue to get better, and he wants to be able to compete for championships. And until they could trade for Paul George at the 23rd hour, then it was, yes, he would have went to the Lakers if they didn't pull off the trade.
Even though that wasn't the ideal, it seems like he would have rather gone to super team than solo team. But he ended up finding exactly what he wanted, which was neither, which was me and another guy in a league that all of a sudden is a bunch of great duos instead of threesomes. But listen, there's also thoughts out of, or rumors out of Toronto that they don't love how Kawhi handled this. These are sour grapes. For the Lakers or the Raptors, it's because you thought you were getting this guy and you didn't. I don't think it's fair to act like Kawhi didn't do exactly what he said he was going to do. Take his time, make the best decision for himself and his family.
If you miss out on the best free agent, you're not going to be happy. The Clippers, and Nick, I remember you pointing this out. People were talking about what are the things important to Kawhi. And then you went over, you're like, wow, the Clippers should be it then.
The Clippers checked every box except for roster.
Yes.
Because they didn't have Paul George. They didn't have a star. Once they got that, it's like best ownerships in the Clippers, best front office, Clippers, Raptors close. Location is there. All the question marks the Lakers had about behind the scenes off the court, the Clippers had answered. But of the three teams, they were the team that had the, who's the best player currently on the roster? It was like, is it Lou Williams? Well, when he becomes Paul George, that changes things. That obviously shifted.
And I said that to say if he doesn't choose the Clippers, they're sitting there like, wow, we were the perfect spot for him. So everyone who was going to lose, that being the Lakers now and the Raptors, of course they're not going to be happy because you didn't get it. But Kawhi was very, very honest in his overall approach. The Paul George thing totally surprised me. Yep. That came out of nowhere, and how aggressive he was. I knew he was going to talk to Kevin Durant. That's why I knew Brooklyn and New York were on the board to be able to get an interview because of him and Durant. There was some synergies there to be able to play together. But the Paul George forcing his way out of OKC, Kawhi telling him to do that, that was a surprise.
And of those three teams, Clippers, Raptors, and Lakers, the one rumored to be the odd team out was the Clippers all along. So I think that surprised a lot of people. All right, back to our top story today. The latest on Tyreek Hill, the Chiefs wide receiver, will rejoin the team. This after the NFL determined he will not be disciplined or suspended following an investigation into allegations of child abuse. The NFL saying it did not violate the league's personal conduct policy. His teammate, Travis Kelce, said, quote, "We're just happy to get our guy back." See, whether or not you agree with the NFL's decision, Tyreek Hill is back. Does that put the Chiefs on track now for a Super Bowl run? Or does the team, is it more complicated than that, trying to welcome him back into their fold?
Well, this situation is not more complicated because he had a court case, all right? They didn't have anything against him, so they dropped the case. Now, his case with the league, they didn't have anything against him, so he's not going to be suspended. So when you come back into a locker room in those situations, guys are really happy to see you. The team got a lot better, and there's really no judgment from a player standpoint because the people that were trying your case basically said that you were innocent. Now, are you going to have him coming over to watch your kids and everything? Now, that's something totally different because I believe with some of the stuff that he did and say warranted a suspension. But when you're in the locker room, of course, you invite guys in. You understand. You've been playing football for a long time. There's no athletes like football players. And I don't know what Major League Baseball is going to do going forward. I don't know anything about hockey, what they're going to do forward in the NBA. But the NFL, They're going to be into rehabbing players on and off the field. I'm a product of that. I'm an example of that. They're going to give you all the type of help that you're going to need from do you need legal help? Do you need psychological help? Do you need any other type of help? They're going to do that. So I think that they could have been a little harder, especially with the verbal abuse that he gave his fiance. I thought that warranted a suspension given their past. Now, on the football field, Kelsey is right. They are happy for him. They're happy he's able to continue his life. They do have one of the best football teams. Will their defense be able to support one of the best offenses that we've seen? If they're going to have Super Bowl aspirations, they got to be a lot better than what they were in that AFC Championship game where New England held the ball, held the ball, held the ball, held the ball. So a lot of their Super Bowl aspirations don't only lie on Tyreek Hill being there, but they lie on how good the defense is.
There's no doubt this is a better team with Tyreek Hill on it. He's half the reason why Patrick Mahomes was so good. The only issue I have is that whether or not we know who committed the crime, and clearly we don't know who.
We don't know who broke the kid's arm.
We don't know who broke the kid's arm. What we do know, and what he admitted to, was that there was a threat being made, and the NFL's personal conduct policy specifically states that a threat is a violation.
Well, this is where, to me, and listen, this is the team I grew up rooting for. This is the team I had season tickets for. And yeah, of course, on the field, it's maybe the best quarterback wide receiver duo in the league. But it is very rare with any domestic violence situation that something is black and white, clear cut. We often don't have video. Sometimes we do. We did in the Ray Rice situation. Right. But even that one got a little murky afterwards when you saw Janae and Ray talk together. We had a clear cut, undisputed audio tape of him saying to a woman he pled guilty to abusing years ago, "You should be terrified of me too," expletive. When it's that black and white and that clear cut with that history, that not necessitating at least a couple game suspension is shocking, and it's something I think the NFL is going to think about this week. Why didn't that